So today we need to drop the fuel tank so that we can screw the rails for the seats on. It's quite heavy, probably because somebody, maybe me, filled the van all the way up with petrol rather than just putting a few quid in it. So we've got a jack and a really large piece of wood, and we're going to drop the fuel tank onto that to try and support it while we're working. Got the fuel tank supported on this piece of wood, and what Ian's doing now is he's unscrewing all the bolts. The idea will be then to lower the jack slightly, just to lower the fuel tank enough so that we can get under it to screw the seat rails in. So Ian got halfway through the job and realised that actually he's got a power tool that can do the job at twice the speed. Undone all the bolts, and now we're going to try and drop the tank.
Bolts that hold the support bands on are quite long, so we've been able to drop it without taking the bolts out, which I think's given us just enough room to be able to get in to put the spreader plates and the nuts on. So we're making up some spacers to help deal with the ridges in the floor. I'm just using aluminium because it's lightweight, and at the minute I'm just drilling some clearance holes in it.
So the kids are in bed and we're back out here to finish off putting the rails in the van for the seats. I thought I'd show you guys what we're doing. So we've got two different things. We've got packers, and these are going to make sure that the rails are all the same height. And then we've also got spreader plates. These are going underneath the van, and they're just there so that the load is spread out. I clearly have no idea what I'm talking about. So the rails are in, and we're going to see if the seat fits. You want me to help?
Yeah.
I'm videoing. What do you want me to do?
Pick it up, put it in.
It doesn't fit. It does fit! Oh, look at that, guys. It fits really.
There we go. Put it in front first.
Are you relieved?
A little bit. Now that we've done all of the bolts underneath the fuel tank, we must remember to tighten it up. So just doing it a bit at a time. Now that I've done the ones on this side, I'll go and do the three on the other side, but you're not going to be able to see that. And then I will hand tighten them up just to make sure they're all tight. So we spent quite a long time trying to get the position of the seats where we knew there was going to be enough space front to back so that when we turn these two sets of seats round, there'd be enough leg room between us and the girls in the back. We also had to take into account where all the chassis rails were, and then we've also had to make up spacers so that all the seats are going to sit on the same level. We've done these two rails, we've filmed a bit of that, but it's really hard to see what was going on, so we're going to save the kind of how to do it for this side here. You can probably just see here, 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 and there, and there, and there. We've got the 4 spots where we've already laid out the rails and marked out exactly where we want them, and now I can drill the holes for them. Now that I've drilled the holes, I'm just going to treat all the rough edges with a bit of hammerite, and that should prevent any rust forming. Here you can see the 4 packers that we've put in place, which bring the height of everything up to the height of the ridges, and then all 4 rails will be at the same height. with everything in place, then I'll drop the bolts through, and then Jenny's going to be on the underside attaching the spreader plates and the nuts, which we'll try and show you next.
Okay, so I'm under the van, and you can see the bolts sticking through here, and here we've got the spreader plate and then the nut ready for Ian to tighten it up on the other side.
Okay, with Jenny underneath, she's holding the nut in place, and we can just tighten these down using the T55 Torx. And we're just getting them kind of just tight enough to hold on, and then we'll test fit the seat in the rails to make sure it's all straight and square.
Moment of truth. Does it fit?
It's gone in quickly.
It fits. Hurrah!
Let's make sure. Okay, so the seats are in, all bolted down properly. Yeah, really happy with them. They're easy to get in and out. We will still need to build the floor up, but we're going to do that anyway when we insulate the floor.